Hey guys, welcome back to Altcoin Bus Spotlight with me, Layah Heilpern, the show where we speak to entrepreneurs, innovators, and thought leaders in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. This week, we're doing an AMA with Tim Boss, the CEO of the travel app ShareRing. ShareRing is built on distributed ledger technology, allowing for a transparent and a decentralized ecosystem. Don't forget to ask your questions below so we can find out all the information from the CEO himself. Also, if you like the segment, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Tim, great to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Good, Layah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Delighted to host this AMA. So a lot of questions have come through, and in natural style, we're starting off with the pandemic. We're starting off with COVID-19. What else to start with, right? So our first question from our audience is, are additional COVID-19 measures or any other measures being explored to try and service the travel industry? Because it seems that safety right now is a bit of an issue. So take it away for us, Tim.
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. So we just hired somebody to handle that area of the business. So somebody by the name of Faris, where we'll do an announcement about him. He's quite well known. But his job really is to work with us on the Sharing ID product. And one of the areas that we're talking to a number of companies and governments about is using our identity management, a blockchain product, to help travelers effectively having a COVID passport when they travel overseas. So a number of countries have COVID passports already that they're developing, but we're looking at actually integrating it within the travel app. So that's something that we're actively working on at the moment. And in fact, we got some requirements back from a Thai company that's working with us on it now too. So that's, yeah, definitely some exciting things happening there.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to hear, how everybody in the industry has had to sort of up their game or sort of move left or
Oh,
right
yeah.
to sort of serve what's happening. You mentioned those COVID passports, so that's really fascinating. So
Mm.
sticking with, looking at what other, I guess, competitors are doing, because like you said, many other people are doing COVID passports. So what are the advantages then over major competitors emerging in the shopping and delivery space, for example, Google, Facebook, Amazon?
Mm. So in terms of what we're developing, our approach really is let's use the technology that we've developed in our platform that we've developed and create like an SDK, which is a plugin that anybody could put into their own app to have something like a COVID passport. So we're talking to some of these larger companies about using what we're developing. So instead of us saying, hey, use our app, you have to use this, what we're looking at is how do we integrate and how do we sort of have something that is ubiquitous across multiple apps, and shopping systems and travel apps and things like that.
And with more and more countries actually opening up for travel again, when do you guys plan to implement the travel app?
So in terms of when we're going to launch the travel app again, a lot of it's really up to our partners and less up to us. So, for example, when COVID-19 happened, one of our partners, TripAdvisor, or their Viator product, had basically stopped all bookings. So they're looking at starting bookings again, maybe at the end of June, but it's sort of like a wait and see approach. Our hotels partner has got bookings on hold at the moment. So once we know that all of our partners are allowing bookings on the platform again, then we will actually start looking at launching our app again. And it is ready. It's been sitting there waiting. We've actually been enhancing it and adding more functionality to it. So this blackout is actually giving us a chance to make it an even better app.
Good. Yeah, I think it's interesting to hear because a lot of people say, their work has to be postponed because of everything that's going on, but it's sort of given them an opportunity to develop things further. So
Oh,
that is great
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah. Now, insurance is another topic and an important one, particularly when it comes to travel. So one of the viewers have asked is, are there any insurance partners at the moment that have implemented solutions provided by ShareRing into their system?
So we're developing solutions, working with a couple of insurance companies. So they haven't finished implementing it at the moment. So it's still reasonably early development. We just finished doing the business analysis part, which was really the design of how the flow would work in terms of signups. But the main areas where we're working on is actually storing the insurance policies using our blockchain technology, and then also doing the claim process using our blockchain technology. So COVID, funny enough, has actually helped us in this area because using our technology, people can apply for insurance and do their identity without having to go into, say, the insurance shop or something like that to apply. So it's giving them a reason to want to try to use our technology as opposed to just sticking with what they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the viewers are now asking actually about your native tokens. It's quite an interesting one, and I'd like to hear more about this personally myself, actually. So, when will the native SHR token be available?
So you can buy it now on a couple of exchanges, so Bitmart and then also Binance Dex. So it's available there. It will be available on more exchanges soon. We are talking to a few, but in terms of actually through the app and using the token, so we're expecting that starting Monday. So the shop that we're launching is launching officially on Monday. And then we've made some major updates to the blockchain itself, huge updates. We've changed probably about 40 or 50% of the overall code. So that's launching this week as well. So I think next Monday is a big day because we're launching a lot of things.
And we have some more questions coming through about the token. So we've got one viewer which says, as the SHR swap app is intended to provide a three-way swap between ERC20, Mainnet, BEP2, does this mean that ShareRing has decided to keep the ERC20 vision alive?
Yeah. So for now, the ERC20 will stay alive, and the BEP2 will. So, I mean, with the app working really well when we launch that, I don't see there's any real reason to move away from ERC20 for now. I mean, if a lot of exchanges support it, why push them to support our native Shareledger technology when we can just as easily support ERC20 for buying and selling share?
Now, just moving on, we're getting some questions regarding Tendermint and Cosmos. So, one of the viewers has actually asked, has the team found that there have been more issues than expected to actually implement Tendermint Cosmos with Shareledger?
Yeah, there has been, and the issues that we've found were more. They were sort of what we'd call edge cases. So they were things that we really didn't expect to come up in the way that we do some of the staking. So we've had to rewrite some of the staking modules. And when we started development, we expected Tendermint to be a lot further on in development than it really was. So all kudos to the team. The Tendermint team have done an amazing job keeping the product updated and moving forward with the technology. Developing blockchain is not easy at all. So we're very, very happy with what we're about to release in terms of, I guess, version 1.1 of the Shareledger platform. And it does use all of the latest Tendermint technology, plus a lot of extra stuff that we've developed on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, blockchain technology, as you mentioned, it is just a very difficult and a new concept and technology to actually start building.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And
actually there were a few, sorry for stopping you.
No, not at all, go on.
There were a few, interestingly enough, during our testing, we did find some, I wouldn't say security holes, but depending on how you implement it, a lot of our security checks, we found a few areas that we weren't quite happy with how it was done, particularly around creating new assets in the system, working through what the exchange rate between share token and, say, Bitcoin and other things were. So we effectively rewrote those whole areas. So we're going to publish those on GitHub and open source them soon enough too.
We now actually have some questions coming in about staking. So when will there be a full breakdown about how staking will work?
Yeah, so we're actually working on the documents now. So we just wanted to make sure we got this version of Shareledger finished. So staking is our next thing on the roadmap. So the first thing is the masternode holders have already staked a lot of their tokens. So there's some that haven't done it yet. So we're working with them up between now and Monday to get their networks updated and do their staking. In terms of other people being able to pool with the with the token holders, the masternode holders, that's definitely next on the roadmap. So it will be built into the app itself. So there'll be an advanced sort of crypto area of the app where you can choose which masternode holder you want to pool your tokens with. You effectively pull that, and then if you want to withdraw it, there's a 2-week delay to what they call unbonding those tokens, and they wait 2 weeks, and you get the tokens back plus whatever you've earned out of them.
And just keeping with, talking about expansion for the minute, we have a question which says, with Thailand share shop scheduled to launch in July and in London soon after, how is the onboarding of businesses going in these destinations?
Okay, so for Thailand, we're doing, well, actually, for everywhere except for Melbourne, where we're doing Share Shop through partnerships. So we have two very large partners in Thailand that we're working with to launch the shop over there. So basically, we've got us as the technology partner, and then an operations and logistics partner, and then a retail partner. And the three of us effectively will launch ShareRing Shop in say Thailand first through this partnership. And yeah, I mean, it's really through those partnerships that we'll grow the ecosystem and grow things like ShareRing Shop and the travel product as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have some more COVID related questions coming through. So back to that topic for the minute. Somebody has just written in it, which has said domestic flights seem to be opening up all around the world right now in many different countries. So will ShareRing take advantage of this, or will you guys be targeting international flights instead?
Domestic flights is something we are, some of our partners that we're working with do handle domestic flights, and it's something we have spoken to them about. Admittedly, the volume in terms of number of flights, number of transactions it would see, and the revenue that we'd get from it isn't nearly as high as what we'd expect from international. And it's really a different market. The way you approach those markets is quite different. So it's certainly, I mean, thanks for bringing it up. It is definitely something we will look at. We are talking to a company in Thailand, an airline in Thailand who's predominantly domestic at the moment. So there could be something that comes out of that.
And we actually have another question that just come through back to staking for the minute, which actually says that the second phase of staking and distribution was planned for the 23rd of May. How did that go?
So that was delayed only because we focused back on fixing some of the issues that we have with Shareledger. So we do have staking from the masternode. So they have, as I mentioned before, they have staked. So the next phase is basically pooling. So the staking technology is now written into Shareledger. So we're right on time with that. That's done. It's just the client app that allows you to do your own staking.
Just finally, what are the team's expectations then for Q3, Q4 of 2020? Anything that you're able to share with us?
So, I mean, I guess Q3 and Q4, the big things for us are really ShareRing Shop, so the launch and the rollout of that. So we're expecting a lot of big things around that. So I wouldn't expect it to explode quickly. We don't want it to. The worst thing that we would have is if we're overwhelmed with orders or overwhelmed with suppliers or things like that. So we need to really stage that properly. The launch of travel, I would expect to happen around it's more likely late Q3, early Q4. As I said, we need a lot more to open up for that to work. The other areas is obviously insurance, sharing ID, the ID system. We're going to see a lot of new things coming out as that. As I mentioned before, we've hired someone really specifically to focus on that ID or as part of our overall expansion program. I mean, they're really the four big areas that I'd start to sort of expect to see things from us. I think the important thing is that we've finally finished the platform, we've finished the API, we've finished the blockchain as well. So now it's time for us to really start getting out there and pushing the sales and the operations side of things to start showing what you can do with what we've developed.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, I want to thank you so much for coming on Altcoin Buzz and doing your AMA with us. And I wish you the best of luck with the rest of 2020.
Great. Thanks very much, Layah. You too. And thanks for your time.